Hi everyone, it's Heather from True North Spirit Medicine. How are you going today? Today I'm going to be doing the monthly energy reading for April 2025. Okay, so March. Woohoo! I hope you hung on to your hats because March was a bit of an intense one, I think, for a lot of people. Where I live, there was a cyclone, which is quite unusual, to say the least. I'm in the subtropics, so we do get big storms and, tropical kind of summer rain isn't that unusual, but a cyclone this far south is very unusual. First time in 50 years or something. And some people got very badly affected and very badly flooded, and, sending lots of love and compassion to those people that are still struggling from the effects. We were lucky here. So empathy and compassion for those who weren't so lucky, basically. But it's interesting. I made a short video that I released, published or whatever, last week or something. And I was going to chop up the February video, but I ended up chopping up the January video to make that. But in the interim, or in the process of deciding, I started watching my own video from last month to find the segment that spoke to me, that wanted to be a short, basically. And what I found interesting was that they were talking about wind, and one of the cards from last month was the Air Guardian card. And at some point they talked about the sort of spiral vortex energy. I took that as being, the spiraling up of, that's the way energy works, that's the way time works, that's the way, human evolution works. So I interpreted it in that way. But when I watched it the other day, I was like, oh, every man and his dog and every woman and her cat, when we were messaging and texting and all the rest of it about the cyclone a couple of weeks ago, the icon was that, blue spiral. So I thought that was interesting. It's almost like in hindsight, the symbols were there, but the interpretation that I was given, or the interpretation that I got, was, not quite right, which is interesting, right? Yeah, I guess it's like trying to interpret hieroglyphics sometimes without the Rosetta Stone. Interesting. Okay, so March has been a bit of a ride. So there was a full moon eclipse, and then they always come in pairs, the new moon eclipse on the 30th, and in between there was the equinox, which doesn't always happen apparently. The equinox doesn't usually come in that, they call it an eclipse doorway. So an eclipse followed by another eclipse, and that time in between can be quite potent for dream fishing, dream gathering, future planning, future dreaming, future visioning, future manifesting. And it's interesting, like there was a few moments, and I read this elsewhere later, there was a few moments in there where I was like, I'm seeing nothing, I'm feeling nothing, I don't have any motivation. There was no clear path ahead of me, all of that kind of bizarre, which is a bit unusual. But then I read somewhere on the Astro that in some Astro, Leah Whitehorse, I think I follow her on Facebook. She's another English astrologer. I think it was her, she was talking about that kind of, that liminal space, so between the two eclipses, as not being a good time for future planning, future dreaming, future all the rest of it, which it usually is. And I find that kind of interesting because that was my natural kind of, feeling around it. Not feeling around it. I tried and it didn't work. Anyway, the point is, don't panic. Don't panic if you've been trying to do the usual kind of manifesty, future planning, future dreaming, dream fishing kind of stuff in the window there. Don't panic, don't stress if it's difficult, because that's part of this current Astro apparently as well. I can't remember why. But yeah, it's been a bit of a ride. And is it the whole Neptune into Aries, that's ramping up. Power to the people, realignment, old structures falling, old energy dying, new stuff coming in, more integrity, more love, more compassion on the planet. That's increasing as it has been for a while, but it's getting more, I want to say more to the point, you know. So yeah, they're kind of standing up for what you believe in, being a voice for those who don't have the capacity to have their own voices at this time, or in these moments. All of those things are really, really important. So continue with those kind of social justice-y things. Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm being a bit vague, so the video doesn't get blocked from being shared, basically. Okay, so I'm going to use 2 decks today. And before that, I'll just do it quickly. Plant communication course, up, available, ready on Udemy. All the links to what I'm about to tell you are in the description box below. Got more new students. Hello and welcome. Nice to have you on board. And I've started doing the next course. So putting it together, making all the pretty slides, doing all that kind of business. So that's exciting. I'm hoping to film that in May. So hopefully that'll be out in the next couple of months. And I'm quite excited about that. I'll tell you, I was going to keep it a surprise, but I'll tell you. What it is my psychic development course. So fundamentals upwards, basically. Yeah, so it's exciting. I got inspired by a few conversations with a few different people, and I also got quite inspired by listening to the Telepathy Tapes, which I highly recommend. If you haven't heard of them, it's basically a female American young documentary maker who's made this series of podcasts which are available on YouTube under the Telepathy Tapes. I think they're aiming to make a documentary. Really good, well curated, well edited, well researched. Like, it's not just 2 people in a kitchen talking, it's a proper series. And her focus for this series is speaking with non-verbal, mostly autistic kids and their carers and their teachers. And what they know is kind of mind-blowing. Like, there's an assumption of competence in terms of basic skills, but there's so much beyond that, like the spiritual knowledge, the telepathic knowledge, like it's the communication is it's really interesting. So if you're on board with this whole bizzo, it's confirming, it's reaffirming, it's interesting in its own right. If you haven't heard of this stuff before, it can be paradigm shifting. That's what that's one of their sort of taglines, I suppose. And it's become very, very popular. So it released the end of last year. Lots of people are talking about it. It's really interesting. So I find the timing of this really interesting. Like, the time is right for more people to acknowledge their own psychic skills or their own telepathic awareness. The thing I found a little bit, not sad, what's the word? So the experts, they never talked to people like me, and even I listened to a Mayim Bialek podcast talking about it, and when she was trying to find information about it, people would send it to magicians, not musicians, magicians. Like, people don't think about us. People don't think about the clairvoyants. People don't think about the metaphysicians. People don't think about the psychics. Like, we're experts in our field. There are quacks, but there's, quack mechanics and quack GPs. So, that's culturally, that's still interesting. But that was the other motivation for me to get cracking on this psychic development course, basically, is because here's this group of people who are struggling with what psychic voices sound like, or what is clairvoyance, or what is clairaudience, or what is, what are these things? Well, I've never heard of them before. My kid just starts, talking in my head, and I don't know, and that freaks them out a bit. So it's the same kind of process that anyone who's had or is having this kind of spiritual awakening, I guess, like an understanding that there's more to life than this, 3/4D, if we include time, world. And they're having to go through the same struggles that we did. And I'm like, oh no, just talk to us. We know all about this. We can share our knowledge. It's really interesting. And these kids know stuff that I've never even heard of, or abilities that I'd never even thought of. So, it obviously could be a two-way street. But in terms of helping particularly the carers and the parents, of understanding how clairvoyance or animal communication or telepathy or any of that remote viewing works, they could come and talk to us because we know. So I don't know. Sad isn't the right word, but I just was like, oh, there's a gap in their knowledge, but that's our expertise over here. You just don't know about us yet. Anyway, so that was my extra motivation for working on the psychic development course as being the next Udemy course. That was a very long-winded explanation, wasn't it? Okay, spirit guide meditation is up. Chakra balance meditation is up. I've got the new Upgrade Your Energy meditation. It's on a special introductory price as well. I highly recommend listening to that as well, because the frequency of the energy is changing. Radio dial, driving to the Gold Coast or further distances or whatever. Change the dial. It's frequent. So I highly recommend jumping on board that practice. And if you want some help with that, download the meditation I've created. It's quite nice. And that can assist you with that process as well. Still doing readings, still doing distant Reiki, still can't carry my table because it weighs 15 kilos. I've got a platform to come, but I really haven't done anything about that, to be honest. I'm focusing on getting the Udemy courses up and running. Merch is still available. There's a sale on Redbubble at the moment. They have Redbubble and Threadless have sales. I just can't keep on top of it. So if you like the shops, follow along and they'll send you emails of the notifications of the sales. Okay, Oracle card deck still in progress. Okay, that was it, I think. Yes. Well done. So, decks. I have a new deck and I'm a bit excited. And it leapt out at me to use with you this morning. It's called Earth Power Oracle by Stacy Demarco. Artwork by Jimmy Manton. And it's got a lovely picture of Uluru on the front. Earth Power. So it's only new to me, and I've only really looked at it twice. So I'm slightly intimidated by using it for the first time in a reading on camera, but whatever, we'll see how we go. And the second deck, and I'm not sure if I'm going to even use this one. I think I felt like I just needed to choose another deck. And I felt like I needed it to be sort of nature-based as well, and another woman, which I thought was interesting. So the second deck is the Herbal Astrology Oracle by Adriana Ayales, artwork by Josephine Klerks. I'm not sure how to say her name. I've used this one with you before. So I haven't drawn the cards yet. I thought I'd do that as a surprise for all of us on camera. I was tempted to draw particularly the Earth Power Oracle cards first so I could have a look at them. But then I thought, no, I'll do it. I'll be brave. I'm trying to shuffle away from the microphone. Okay, let's go. Cool. Okay, they weren't jumpers. That was like 5 of them that jumped out of me together. That was big. Just new cards. They're a bit sticky. They're sticky. Okay, I got Uluru. Okay, I got 3. I'm not sure if I need one from here. Okay, I've got 1 from the Herbal Astrology. So 3 from the Earth Power Oracle and 1 from the Herbal Astrology. Okay. So I'm just going to have a look at the order of the cards. Not really sure. At first I was like, I think they're in the right order, and then I felt like I wanted to swap card 2 and 3 around, and now I'm not sure. So I'll leave them in the order they came out, and I'll tune into the channel-y bit. Council of Elders. I'll talk with them a bit more closely, and they'll tell me what to do. And of course, I'll put the cards up on my Facebook and Instagram, usually a couple of days after I've published the video. And that's usually just to give me a break, really, from the computer. But yes, you can have a closer look at them online if you want to. 2 of them are Australian. in this deck. I'm pretty sure Stacy Demarco is Australian. But these earth power cards, they're from all over the world. It's like sacred sites from all over the world, which is really quite interesting. But yeah, 2 out of, I don't even know how many are in this deck. 2 of the ones, 41 cards, and 2 of them I've just drawn are from Australia, which is interesting. Okay. Okay, I feel like there was stuff we were going to talk about before we started, but it's going to come out in the, it's getting up really. It's going to come out in the channel, the messages somehow anyway. Okay, right. Greetings, dear ones, and thank you again for meeting with us, for sitting with us here today. As you know, we love your presence and we love your guidance and we love your own personal intuition to follow your own personal invitation as to the right timing for you to sit with us. As we sit once again at a beautiful table full of a beautiful banquet feast. Sup if you need to. Take sustenance from us, energetically, physically, nutritionally. Imagine if your general practitioner doctors advised a system and a discipline of energetic medicine as part of your physical health. Imagine if they prescribed a daily dose of us, my friends, an energetic plugging into the socket of source energy. Imagine if meditation was on their prescription pad. As indeed it should be, my friends, as indeed it should be. For connecting to us is as vital to your health as just about anything. Food, water, sunshine, source energy. You cannot live without it. And in fact, you do not. They will find with those astronauts that were far away for a long time, longer than they planned, they will find in their research and their experiments, whether they are published to the public or not, but they will find there are, shall we say, deficits in their system for being absent from the electromagnetic field of Earth for quite such a long time. Humans were designed to be in close and intimate partnership with Gaia. Gaia has been designed as a closed biosphere for your survival, your enjoyment, your pleasure, your health, and your home. So humans and Gaia are intimately connected, and when humans spend a great deal of time absent from the close electromagnetic connection and system that is Gaia, then you feel it. You definitely feel it, my friends. Heather is sure that she has read somewhere a long time ago in the back of her brain about this fact, about this anomaly of humans being outside the magnetic field. Perhaps it was our dear friend Cryon who mentioned this to her, and others, of course. So it is interesting that Heather followed her instinct to draw and to use the earth cards with us today. And part of what we wish to speak with you about is growth. And that is the first card that Heather drew, and it is called the Tarkine. The Tarkine is a section of rainforest in Tasmania. Ancient and sacred and old and wise. We see animals and trees and water and rocks and air in this card, all of the elements. all of the components for growth. We encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, my friends, with all of this high frequency energy that is indeed coming to the planet, that requires that continual upgrade of your frequencies to stay on the dial of the most benevolent, biggest, most powerful frequency of source energy. You need to be grounded. Sit on the earth, sit on the dirt, get your hands in the earth, hug a tree, pat a pot plant, whatever it is that you can do to connect and touch living nature. And no, cutting up the herbs for your dinner is not enough. That is funny. Yes, it is nature that you are ingesting, but we are speaking of things that have roots in the ground, my friends, that have roots in the ground. For it is this that we encourage with you in your daily and continued practice of meditation, is to deepen your roots into the earth as much as you can, in order to go as high as you can. Because these months of changeable and changing energy, with these new patterns in the skies and the new alignments of the planets forming new sacred geometry around and above your earth, comes new frequency, new energy, new information from the outer realms. And in order to integrate that into your human systems and into the earth plane and into Gaia's network of friends, shall we say, it is important for you as the human conduit between source energy and Gaia to connect with Gaia. It is like they say to wear rubber shoes when there is a lightning storm. Humans are a lot of water. So conduct and ground that energy as much as you can. You will not get struck by lightning, my friends. That is not what we are saying. But we are saying, if you earth yourself, if you ground yourself, if you touch the earth, if you touch living beings of the earth, the rocks or the sand or the salt water or the plants in your garden or your trees on the walk as you stroll past, even the street trees, you might pat them as you walk down your cityscape. They will know you're there. Just like the astronauts, when they are absent from Gaia, they miss it. So when you connect more closely with the friends of Gaia, when you are here on the planet, it is like reconnecting with an old friend. So ground yourself as much as you can in this coming month in particular, my friends. It will help, it will help, it will help. This next card, Troya, talks about exchanging of gifts in the world is a positive act. Teamwork is necessary. And we want to align this card with what we were just speaking of with Gaia and nature and yourself. It is about, for us this month, this card, it is about the exchange of energies between you and the grander systems within which you walk. Even if you are not aware of them, they are aware of you. So even if you are not aware of EMFs, or you're not aware of X-rays, or you're not aware of auroras that you can't see without a camera, these things, X-rays and EMFs and auroras are detectable by your instrumentation but not by your human eyes. So we can see that they are there even though we cannot see them with our eyeballs. And so just like that, just like we are aware, we know that there are ranges of hearing, there are ranges of sound that we can't hear that, for example, dogs or bats can. And we are aware that there are ranges of colours that we can't see that some animals or insects can. And humans are interesting in that we can have these intellectual knowledges of these facts about the limitations of the human biological system. We can't see X-rays, we can't hear ultrasounds. And we can have a knowledge that other creatures do. And yet when it comes to speaking with people like us or entities like us, then we struggle. Oh no, that can't be true. Oh no, there can't be a system of a Gaia grid, or there can't be a system of a crystalline grid, or there can't be a system of past lives or karmic energy because I haven't seen it, or I haven't felt it, or I haven't heard it. So there is a paradox there, my friends, is there not? And it is culturally enforced, which of course, if you have listened to Heather long enough, I'm sure you are aware of. It is one of the many things she is passionate about. And rightly so, we might say. So yes, this Trojan card, this Troy card, is about an alliance and a collaboration and a communication with the other systems of energy on the planet. But it's also, and it is also about opening one's mind to not only those possibilities, but greater and grander possibilities. There are connections that even those of you who are wise are not aware of yet. And that is exciting, is it not? New things to discover, new things to explore, new things to be in thrall of, and new things to investigate and enjoy. It is a little like when you travel to a different country, everything is a little bit different, or a lot different, depending on where you go and where you come from. But there's excitement there. New foods, new smells, new vistas, new music, new languages. So think of it a little bit like that, these new frequencies, or this new energy grid that we are slowly educating you about, that you are already connected to, my friends. Feel into it with excitement rather than trepidation. And this is interesting because this feels like new knowledge to Heather, and indeed it is. Oh, but we slide it in such a way, it's like a new treat or a new food or a new fruit on the banquet table of feasting that we sit at first you might not notice, and someone might point it out to you, but you are busy eating your favorite fruit or your favorite meal. And so you go, I will get to that later, but underneath you're like, oh, there's something new here that we are telling you about. And indeed we are, my friends. It is exciting. And we are glad that you are feeling confident and capable and aware enough to be able to integrate, to begin to integrate this new information. That makes us pleased, very pleased, and it makes us proud, and it makes us very, very happy. It should give you great hope and great solace, perhaps, for the future of humanity, that you are ready for this next phase. And indeed, it does feel exciting. It's like now you have discovered this new fruit or food or dessert or drink or whatever it is on this feasting table, and you understand why the country where this originates, the people who eat this or have this experience often are excited, because it is exciting and it's new and it's beautiful. And we are very glad that you are here, my friends. We are very glad that you are here. Take some time to rest after this video. All of you. You will need it. It will help. Integration. Integration. The last card is Uluru. Heather doesn't even need to open her eyes or pick up the card, although we will drop it into the video to show you. It has a special place in her heart, and rightly so again. For Uluru is, can we say, yes, the home of, one of the homes of, the main dwelling place on earth of the Pleiades, known as the Seven Sisters, known by many names across the planet, seen and understood by many cultures across the planet. It is the only constellation star system that every single culture on the planet has a story about, my friends. And every single culture on the planet and every single story is similar. Think about that for a moment, my friends, if that is new information to you. Think about that. If that is not an indication of how all of humanity, you all as humanity are connected to this beautiful grid, then I don't know what is. And these cultures go back millennia, my friends. Thousands of years of stories about the same star system. It is important. And it dwells right here in Heather's own country of origin. And she has been grateful and lucky and organised enough to make it a priority to go there twice in her lifetime so far. She will go again. We miss it when we're not there. And so today the message of Uluru is power. There is a message here too about ancestral information and ancestral connection and ancestral knowledge and wisdom, and not just our human ancestors and our direct bloodlines in this lifetime, but the past lives and the karmic connections and bloodlines and lifetimes, but our star brothers and sisters, the stellar connections and lifetimes and wisdom and knowledge. And this is part of this new frequency of energy, this new grid network, for want of better words, that we are educating you about, particularly today. We will continue to do so as we move forward, my friends. This is the first, but certainly not the last piece of information about this. Hee, exciting. But yes, there is a stellar connection, shall we say. We are showing Heather pictures of like 5 stars, like your 5-star reviews. So again, it is exciting. And again, I guess we invite you, we don't guess. Heather guesses, we do not guess. We invite you to feel this energy more than hear it from our words through Heather, my friends. There is an uplift and uptick of energy. It might bring you strange dreams. It will bring you auroras, those beautiful dances of light in the skies. It will help to ground your energy on the planet, because that will help the integration, my friends. It is really important. It is not something we are saying as a flippant comment. It is in some ways vital to your health moving forward. Remember, we spoke of the GP doctor's prescription at the beginning of this reading. So we have more to say about Uluru, but I feel like it is to come. It is to come. It is to come. We do not wish to overload you with too much information today. And Heather was just wondering whether we were even going to look at this last card that she has drawn. And part of us was about to say no, but then she looked at the picture and decided that the picture was important. The card is Valerian, the word is acceptance. And the part of the picture that Heather finds interesting and we are encouraging her to speak of is this part of the picture in the middle of the doorway in the card, where there is a human-shaped being in the sky and there are some clouds and there is perhaps lightning coming from the bottom of the clouds, from the bottom of the human onto the mountains. But we wish to translate this as being energy. We wish to look at those, what could be seen as lightning from the sky, more as roots from the trees. So it enhances our message of grounding your energy, and you being a highly water-based electrical being, needing that grounding of the energy as the high frequency energy comes in from the stars, and there are stars behind the human in the card. as they stand in the clouds in the sky. And the words acceptance are relevant as well, because we ask a lot of you in this reading, in these messages for this month, for whenever you're watching this, but for your today onwards. We ask that you be this divine conduit. We ask that you ground this energy. We ask that you accept the upgrades and invite them in. We ask that you allow for the expansion of your consciousness to agree to these new upgrades, to this new frequency and the awareness of this new energy grid that you are slowly, gently, but excitingly becoming aware of. So we ask that you take the advice of integration. Wherever you are listening to this video and whatever you are doing, at least when it finishes, take a few moments to breathe. Take some deep breaths. Allow this beautiful, grand, divine energy to integrate into your system. Drink some extra water. Ingest some extra protein. Lie down and have a bit of a rest if you can, even if only for a short amount of time. It will help. It is like putting the spaghetti sauce onto the back burner to simmer. That extra 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever it may be of development of flavors is key to the enjoyment of the overall dish. And it is the same with this, my friends. Allow yourselves to simmer on the back burner for some time, so to speak. You are ready for this, you are right for this, you can handle this, it is yours, it is your divine birthright. You are capable, you are wise, you are grounded, you are loved, you are supported. We hold your hand, we hug you, we love you, and we will speak to you again very soon with much love, and so it is. Oh, how interesting. I don't feel like I want to say much more. But thank you for watching, and thanks to the new subscribers. Thanks for following along. Thanks for being part of this. Thanks for being part of this, I was going to say wild and wacky journey, and then I opened my eyes and got a little bit dizzy. Yeah, how interesting. I like it when they drop in new information that I didn't know. It kind of confirms the whole process for me in a way. And I haven't yet heard anyone else talk about that. Hello, kitty. Another cat just came in. My cat. Hello. Yes, I'm talking to everybody. Is she cute? Oh, she wants to drink. She likes drinking out of my water glass. Yeah, I haven't yet heard anyone else talk about that. Hi, Mel. Do you want to come up and say hello? There we go. She's been at the vet this morning. She's a good girl. Just for a checkup, really. Yeah, so that'll be interesting, because sometimes when I talk about things here, I'll watch somebody else's, videos or whatever, and they'll say a similar thing. Oh, the kitty's coming. Come here. Or everyone can see how pretty you are. Can you turn around so everyone can see how pretty you are? She's like, I don't even know what the camera is. Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see if, look how cute she is. Can I turn you around that way? Is that okay? Oh, she's so cute. Yeah, sorry. Distracted by the cat. Look how cute she is. She never doesn't want to look at the camera. All right, take care, and I'll stop. I think she's hungry. I'll stop trying to show you my cat. Yes, take care, and be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Here she is. And ground yourself, do all the advice they said that was useful. And I'll talk to you again next month. Okay, take care. Bye.